36 Siachen Glacier. As the 3 o'clock radar continued to scan, Hassan realized that the enemy was not only not far away, but a formation. After all, he is a veteran, and he did not panic, especially the ALQ-211 electronic warfare pod that the No-02 wingman carried with high-power jamming. The technical officer of the base once said that this kind of pod has the best effect on PD radar jamming, and the capability of phased array is halved. India-based early warning aircraft rarely appear in the air. This statement has not been fully tested. Rashid, use electronic jamming equipment, and you monitor enemy planes, Hassan said. The voice reached the ground command post, and everyone became apprehensive because the enemy situation was unclear. Rashid's F-16 carrier aircraft is equipped with the latest electronic warfare pods, which have strong electronic reconnaissance and analysis capabilities. In principle, this equipment should be in working condition at any time. It will automatically monitor and analyze various threats. Suspicion of the Americans, Pakistani pilots did not use it very often in the air. All Pakistani electronic reconnaissance systems failed during the US raid on Abbottabad in 2011. Soon, the electronic warfare pod found 3. The electronic analysis system identified one of the most distant pulse sources as an A-50 early warning aircraft, a large Russian-made early warning aircraft. The other 2 sources of radar waves, which are judged to be Su-30 Mki fighter jets approaching at high speed, are still unknown, and are roughly estimated to be within 50 kilometers. Captain, is it a head-on attack? Asked Rashid of Wingman 02. Number 3, Number 4, turn at full speed and search for the enemy aircraft. Rashid, please follow me and continue to carry out electronic interference. Hassan still did not forget to guide the missiles flying towards the enemy aircraft. At this time, the AIM-120 missile on his HUD. There are only 10 seconds left when the radar is turned on. He hoped that the 3 and 4 aircraft would quickly turn to form a 2-on-2 situation with the enemy, perhaps to drive the 2 Su-30s off the battlefield. In his experience, Indian pilots are always not brave enough. They usually fire a few R-27s and then escape. After a while, he can turn to participate in the attack with the number 2 wingman. The 2 wingmen turned at an extremely high angle of attack, a wrong move that allowed the Su-30's radar to track with ease. Before Rashid's electronic jamming was carried out, 2 F-16s had been locked by radar one after another. The beams emitted by the Su-30's powerful phased array radar pointed firmly at the 2 aircraft, making them unable to get rid of them, while their mechanical radar was still in the scanning and ranging stage, which was only the first step of shooting. The Eagle called the fortress, the radar has locked on the enemy plane, and asked to fire. Captain Goya said, putting his hand on the launch button, and the 2 targets were flying head-on 30 kilometers away, completely within the attack envelope of the R-77. The fort calls the Eagle, and the shooting is allowed. 200 kilometers away, the A-50 issued an attack order. The F-16 pilot's radar had just caught each other at this time, but on the HUD, they still only saw 2 targets. At the same time, the radar warning systems of the 2 planes sounded, which made the pilots panic a little, although they still did not agree. I don't know if the enemy has launched a missile, but common sense should guess that the enemy plane is unlikely to stop in the air and not fire. The number 3 plane chose to circle and escape without receiving an order, while the number 4 plane stopped in the air. For a few seconds, hoping to finish the tracking in time, and then fight back, this heroic act ruined his last chance to escape. When he saw 4 dazzling light spots flying close to the side of the snowy mountain in the distance, it was too late for any evasion. The missile collided head-on with the Mach 1 fighter jet, the plane exploded in the air, and the pilot had no chance to parachute. Hassan's attention remained on the hot pursuit of the MiG-21, not yet aware that one wingman was dead and the other was fleeing. At this time, the MiG-21 in the distance had accelerated to Mach 1.7, and the pursuit of the missile became more and more difficult. But Hassan knew the opportunity was coming, and these MiG-21s, much older than him, couldn't run near Mach 2 for long. Sure enough, the last target on the radar screen suddenly decelerated and dropped rapidly. This unconventional action was so sudden that the trailing missile could not keep up with the change. The missile missed the target instantly and did not explode. Immediately after the HHD display, the target became 2 during the deceleration process, which shows that the last MiG-21 did not perform any shocking super maneuvers, it just disintegrated in the air. "Captain, we have lost a plane. Number 3 is out of combat and its location is unclear," Rashid reported. Enemy situation. Without the help of the AWACS, Hassan could only ask the wingman. 2 Su-30 fighters. "Great, you're following me, we have to avoid the damn AWACS, get closer to them, give them a little color," Hassan said, without asking if his teammates were skydiving, because he doesn't care about this kind of thing at all, and now he is misled by wrong information. Before the wingman was shot down, the radar information transmitted through the data link was consistent with the electronic reconnaissance, so he thought that there were only 2 Su-30s 30 kilometers away. It can be seen that Goya's fleet is also using data links. Not every aircraft uses radar. Prepare to launch a new counterattack. If he knows that the other party is 4 aircraft, the normal decision at this time should be to flee immediately. Falcon 3 report location, I need you to return to the battlefield. Hassan called in vain. The terrain in this area is complicated, and if someone wants to escape at a low altitude, communication may be limited. However, Hassan is determined. He knows that in this situation, the offense and defense transfer depends on the suddenness of one side. A simple 3-2 numerical advantage will not have much effect, so he does not depend on the third machine at all. Whether to come back. Rashid, see the glacier there? Let's lower the altitude to surprise these bastards. The air conversation of Captain Eagle was directly transmitted to the command post through the radio, and Sami couldn't help standing up. He knew the abacus in Hassan's stomach, and all of Hassan's tricks were taught by himself. But Sami felt that Hassan's decision was a bit rash, because the current battlefield situation is very chaotic, and the enemy is 2 Su-30s. Our AWACS hasn't reached a position where it can be seen clearly. Sami asked. It will take another 7 minutes to go further south so that we can leave the shielded area, said the Major General. In 7 minutes, the air battle is already over. At this time, the AWACS aircraft of the Indian Air Force could no longer detect the remaining 2 F-16s, but this AWACS aircraft, which was staying 50 kilometers south of Siachen, could see the one that escaped. The F-16 was still rushing westward across the mountains, and depending on the situation, it would not come back. The fort called the Eagle, we lost the trace of 2 F-16s, the third is heading west, and the altitude is very low. It is not recommended to pursue. The Eagle understands. Goya did not want to leave the battlefield immediately, he knew that his AWACS was in control the situation, so he is still in a huge advantage, he still wants to search the mountains to try his luck. So he let a wingman fly to high altitude to search. By the way, to attract the attention of the enemy, he and several other planes turned on the IRST system, hoping to find something. He knew that the remaining 2 planes would not disappear out of thin air, they are probably on the way. The use of mountainous terrain for cover was a common method used by both sides in previous air battles, and the last information from the radar indicated that they were turning towards themselves. Don't be afraid of air combat within sight. Their sidewinders need time to cool down before launching, so we can definitely fire first. Our helmet sights are the nemesis of restraining the enemy. Goya said confidently, he now has reason to be proud, his record is currently 2. As far as he knows, if the part of the Indian air combat history that served in the Royal Air Force in World War II is removed, his record can probably be ranked in the top 5 among Indian pilots.